Wetsuits are made up of a neoprene and stretchy synthetic rubber material. Wetsuits are made up of these pieces of neoprene stitched together to cover desired body parts. The wetsuit can come in different thicknesses anywhere from 2 to 6 millimeters. The thicker the neoprene, the warmer you will be. The wetsuit traps water inside, then your body heats up the water that was trapped inside the wetsuit and keeps you warm. The addition of nylon was the first step in the right direction, as it strengthened the wetsuit against tears as well as making it easier to put on. But using nylon tape covered with rubber made it very stiff. Today, wetsuits benefit from advances in fabrics such as spandex and lycra, which is now replacing nylon as its primary backing material, has increased the strength and stretch of the wetsuit.
Today I'm just going to run you through the fall selections for wetsuits that are going to be sold at HTO. So this is our Dawn Patrol. This is our entry-level wetsuit. On the inside of this wetsuit, we have one kind of key feature. It's this orange fabric here. So this is called our fire skin. So what this does is you heat it up using your body heat, it traps it, and then it keeps you warm for longer. This is our E-Bomb. So this wetsuit is made up of 100% E3 neoprene. We make it in a hooded version, which is a 5.5, 4.5. This wetsuit comes in a chest zip and a back zip. On the inside of this guy, we've added E3 plus taping to it, which you can see on all the stretch points and on all the stitching. There is now E3 plus tape. This E-Bomb is their hooded version. We make this one in a 5.5, 4.5. And the reason why we make it a 0.5 thicker than a regular 5.4 is that this actually doesn't have any thermal layering on the inside of the suit. So that then brings us to our Flash Bomb, which is our warmest wetsuit that Rip Curl makes. The biggest selling feature of this wetsuit is the thermal lining on the inside. So we call this wetsuit the fastest drying wetsuit, purely based on this fabric. It has a wool-like particle on the front, and so what that does is it sucks the water from your skin and drags it into the wetsuit. And then if you actually look closely at it, it flushes the water straight out of it. So we also make the Flash Bomb in the women's version. So this is the only hooded female suit that we make. The only difference is before it's paneled differently, so it's designed to shape a female body better.
In the 1950s, Hugh Bradner was the first person to think of the idea of preserving body heat in cold water. His studies remained open and unpatented until a few years later when a surfer from Northern California named Jack O'Neill wanted to find a way to surf longer. O'Neill started by stitching together sheets of foam rubber neoprene to make a vest. It worked for a little while, but the material and stitching weren't flexible or durable enough to serve for very long. The needle holes from the stitching became less of an issue when nylon-backed neoprene appeared, but water was still able to seep through the seams. Soon, nylon cloth taping was invented to bond over the seams using a chemical solvent to prevent tearing along the needle holes. In the 1960s, wetsuits were made with a yellow seam tape, which made it easier to see divers in the deeper waters. To prevent the suits from breaking, O'Neill developed a seam tape with a thin nylon layer and a hemming tape made of polyester, making the suits much stronger. In the 1960s, colorful double-backed suits became popular, so it was possible to move the taping to the inside of the suits. The tape was still jagged, however, seam gluing soon developed to create a smoother surface. Soon, blind stitching machines were invented with a needle curved properly to make the wetsuits as durable as they are today. Jack O'Neill started with the design of his vests and continued until he transformed his wetsuits from hooded tunics with short legs into a jacket, then the spring suit, which was popular for a while. Finally, he invented the full body suit. O'Neill started with his idea in a shack of a surf shop in Northern California. He never thought his ambition would take him farther than just having fun with his friends, but he continued to improve his wetsuit and his brand until he made it one of the most popular wetsuit brands worldwide that now markets all types of merchandise.
Although wetsuits were originally created for the purpose of surfing longer in colder elements, wetsuits have developed into important tools involving exploration, safety, and solving problems that we as humans may have created. With the innovation of the wetsuit, scientists and explorers have been able to explore and discover new parts of the ocean, to the extreme point of being able to touch and look closer at new discoveries in our oceans rather than looking through glass. Wetsuits have allowed ocean safety to advance to a whole new level. With the wetsuit, people are able to save others in danger in what may be colder waters without putting themselves at risk of other dangers such as hypothermia. With the wetsuit, people are able to stay in water for longer periods of time, allowing people to not only explore but to help those in the ocean that cannot help themselves, such as a manta ray getting severely caught in human-made products.
Please, won't you wait, won't you stay, at least until the sun goes down. When you're gone, I lose faith, I lose everything I have found. Heartstrings, violence, that's what I hear when you're by my side. Ooh, yeah, that's what I hear when you're by my side. But when you're gone, the music go, whoa, 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 whoa. I lose my rhythm, lose my soul, whoa, 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 whoa. So hear me out before you say the night is over. I want you to know that we gotta carry on. So don't let this be our final song. So don't let this be our final song. So hear me out before you say the night.
New types of wetsuits are being created as we speak. All wetsuits have the same common goal of keeping your body warm. These new wetsuits have more efficient ways of doing that. Currently, when you wear a wetsuit, the numbers showing the sizing or thickness of the neoprene dictate how warm your body is. But with new ideas, such as little heaters and synthetic wool, circulation will be stimulated and people will stay warmer with thinner neoprene on their body. It is also less weight. Every person who works and has activities in very cold water wants a very light wetsuit that keeps them extremely warm. And with these new advancements, that is very possible. A wetsuit with a small heater has already been released to the public. But people are still working on making synthetic material that will stimulate circulation better than current wetsuits do.
So don't let this be our final song.